What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, guys, I'm going to be showing you a fun deck that I've been working on for quite some time that has many different versions of it in the past, but I'm very happy with the current one I have. I figured I'll go ahead and show it off to you guys since OP14 actually made this deck pretty fun, and that is going to be Arlong. Now, if you went back in time and asked me what character I wasn't crazy about in One Piece, my answer would probably be Arlong after the butler that was very early in the series. And this is just referring to East Blue. But Arlong has grown on me. And this card is one of the reasons why. I really like this card. I think it's very fun. And then with the release of OP14, I've grown to love it even more. But Arlong has the effect. Dawn 2, when attacking, you spend 1 Dawn. And then play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less and a trigger from your hands. This is a very, very cool effect. And like I said, this has seen many different versions throughout its lifetime of me having it. This is one of those cards that I talked about in the Jinbei video that I found in the 10-cent box, the leader box, and I was like, you know what, this is cool, I'll pick it up. And along with that, I picked up some of his Fishman crewmates and stuff, and then this deck just ended up becoming its own thing as time went on. So I'm going to go ahead and start this off by saying Kuma can be in this deck, but because I am broke, it is not. So in his place, I am running 4 Basil Hawkins. Why am I running Basil Hawkins? Because this card's awesome. On KO, you trash up to 1 card for top of your opponent's life. That is it. That's all it does. It is just a very, very cool card. I love this card, and I said, you know what? If I can't afford Kuma, I'm playing something in here that I think is fun. Next up, we have 4 copies of the only character really in this deck that you can't cheap out with Arlong's effect, and that is going to be this Arlong right here. The really cool 7K Arlong used to be in this deck. The really, really sweet art. I thought I had it on my desk somewhere, but I guess I don't. That ended up getting taken out of here, but this art along with that is really cool. But this Arlong here has the on play if your leader is the Fishman or East Blue, which of course he is. Give up to 1 Rest of Dawn to your leader, which that is perfect because there you go, he gets a Dawn. And then up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's turn. So that is really good. That is a very, very fun card and perfectly goes with the next couple cards I'm going to show you, which will kind of kick off the general strategy of the deck that I'm going with. We have 3 copies of the 6K Arlong. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand up to 1 of your opponent's rested leader cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. Really good. It just lets you pitch a card, which works perfectly what I'm about to show you guys. And then basically you can just stop your opponent from swinging on you. So the Arlong deck that I decided to go with, ladies and gentlemen, is the Thriller Bark Pirates version. And I'm going to start with my absolute favorite card of the bunch, and that is this Perona. These 2 combined is such a fun combo that I absolutely love it. And I'm going to kind of go over how I go about my turns. But Perona, on play and on KO, up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So if you're able to get these both out kind of back to back, it really hinders your opponent's turn a little bit. On top of that, with the trigger ability that the Thriller Bark Pirate has, you're able to get these out on the same turn. Sometimes like kind of back to back, which is really, really nice. So you can play down Arlong and then like your opponent's leader can't swing on you, and then if you're able to get Perona off of your life, if you go ahead and take a life from the characters, well then you can just kind of hinder your opponent a little bit more. These 2 just kind of back to back on different turns is really, really fun to see. But like I said, the trigger play up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirate stock character with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. So that's really cool. And then we have 4 copies of what I thought was going to be my favorite one, and that is Dr. Hogback. On KO, it just lets you play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less and a trigger other than Dr. Hogback from your trash, which is very similar to the Arlong ability, which is cool. So we have 4 copies of that. Again, same trigger. And then we have 4 copies of Absalom. On KO, it just lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can reveal up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirate. And then the rest just kind of go to your bottom of your deck, which is cool. And then we have some other ones here. We have Victoria Sindri, which is just a blocker card. Same thing. And then lastly, we have Kumasi, which is just a 2K blocker. But again, all of these share the same trigger. So you have a pretty high chance of landing them in the life. And then we're going to round it out with 3 copies of the 8-drop Gecko Moria from OP14. On play, you can select the 1 Thriller Bark type pirate character with a cost of 4 less to your trash and play it or add it to the top of your life cards face up. So if you play this out, you're able to grab a card, or what you can do is, if you have Victoria Sindri, you can just throw some random Thriller Bark Pirate, and then basically get her out of the trash, and then she's a blocker. Or you can throw down Perona, make a character not be able to attack. Like I said, there's a lot of options, and Gecko Moria is just a nice 8-drop card that will allow you to be able to just bring out a Thriller Bark Pirate and just kind of go about however you want to for the turn. So how I play this deck before I get into it with the Thriller Bark engine, essentially I will try to counter out the very first attack from my opponent. So if they swing on life and I have some Thriller Barks in my hand, I will play them to the trash to counter it, then go about my turn. And then if they swing on my leader again, I will take it and hopefully pull a Thriller Bark Pirate from the trash onto the field, and then hopefully I hit Arlong's ability that turn, so now I have 2 characters, and then it just kind of goes from there. And what I really like about this deck is between his ability and the trigger effects and all that, you're kind of cycling characters pretty well, which is really cool. I really enjoy that. But next up, we have 4 copies of Kiku Nujo. This is just in here because it's a really nice forward cost with a trigger. On KO, if your opponent has 3 or less life cards, add up to 1 card off the top of your deck to your life cards, which is really nice. Just a little bit of extra survivability. 2 copies of Buggy from EB-02. This was one of the cards that I was very excited for when I first saw it because I wanted to put it in this deck so bad. But on play, if you have no other Buggy characters, up to one of your leader gains double attack. That is really good. And it's because like you have to throw 2 Dawn on Arlong anyway, so you can use your little guys and just swing, and then finally swing with Arlong, and then just slap down Buggy and get that double attack since it's an on play, and just kind of hopefully force your opponent to either counter out that or they just take 2 life. I mean, that's why I try to go with the little critters first. Then we have 4 copies of Capone for that 2K blocker, and then same with the 4 copies of Hachan, which you guys aren't even seeing these because of the glare. Hold on, my goodness. Hang on a second, we're gonna, yeah, you can kind of, yeah, there we go. There we go, cool. And then the last 2 cards are gonna be 2 copies, maybe. Oh my gosh, glare, you're killing me. 2 copies of Demon Aura 9 Sword Style, Asura Blades, Drawn, Dead Man's Game. Such a long name. But all in all, this deck is one that, like I said, has seen many different forms. It used to be predominantly like yellow trigger based. Now it's got the Thriller Bark Pirates in here, which I'm a huge fan of. And I wanted to play Arlong as much as I absolutely could before he rotates out. If he gets reprinted somehow, I will be so effing happy. But yeah, this is a deck that, excuse me, I want to take the locals and just see how it does a couple times before, like I said, he does rotate. I'm sure it won't be anything stupendous, but it's something that I want to play because this deck is just one that I've been working on for so long. But that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank y'all so much. Like I said, I did do a Jinbei video if you guys want to go check that out. I don't know how frequently we will have some One Piece content. I think the next deck I could possibly cover will probably be Uta. That'll probably be the next one. If you guys haven't seen my Dawn. I'm a huge Doflamingo fan. So that is another deck, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Purple Doflamingo is another one I could cover going forward. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I'm rambling. You guys take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Don't forget to like, follow, and obey.